Welcome to the Queer Love Podcast, the silly and serious shenanigans of two queer relationship coaches. I am your host, Elizabeth Cunningham.
And I'm your host, Lee Greeps.
On this podcast, we talk about how to live your best queer life with fulfilling, healthy relationships and anything else that makes your little queer heart happy. Because living your life outside of the heteronormative scripts is totally possible for you.
Each episode, we explore all things queer love from our professional perspective as relationship coaches, our own personal experiences, and as partners.
If you love our show, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships. You can also check out our website, www.queerloverelationships.com.
Thanks for following us and enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Queer Love Podcast.
Woo, 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 woo!
I love you.
I love you. Consistency.
What are we talking about today?
We're talking about queer joy during the holiday season.
Yeah.
Holiday edition.
Holiday edition. Queer Joy Holiday Edition. Because last week we talked about navigating challenges or navigating difficult conversations. And like one of the things that we talked about was, who you get to be. And I think it's also important to choose joy and that you really can choose joy, even if other people aren't doing that, even if it might even seem a little like inappropriate. Just gonna throw that out there. But like
appropriate joy.
Well, because I don't think that joy has to be like enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I think that joy can show up in a lot of different ways. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, it's a somber situation and I'm choosing joy, so I'm gonna smile like an idiot in the corner. Like that's not what I mean. Yes. I mean like choosing joy, like choosing to feel your own joy, even if that's quietly, choosing to see joy, maybe not in this specific situation, but remembering the joy in your life and the joy in who you are. And so joy doesn't always have to look like, like this enthusiastic, bubbly, high energy thing. Joy can be quiet, joy can be remembrance, joy can be acknowledgement, joy can be gratitude, joy can be taking solace in the good things that are happening, as well as recognizing the challenging things that are happening as well, and I think when we talk about queer joy around the holidays, the first thing that comes up for me is that I love being queer. Like I love this part of me.
Samesies.
Yeah. Like regardless of how other people feel about that, like I love being me. I love being me. I love being queer. I love this part of me. This being queer makes me really happy. Like just the fact that I am queer makes me really happy.
Yes. All of the yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's my take on like queer joy around the holidays. And my first queer joy example, what about you?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think just like reflecting on the last episode and what we were talking about, like especially, hard conversations or just like weird situations with, your uncle who's saying lots of things, is, even those situations that are hard, like it is that also it's just like the reflection, and of course every, I feel like there is a evolution for a lot of, like when being queer of like maybe it's harder when you like first come out or like, you know, getting more comfortable in your expression and everything. But like, you know, nowadays I'm just like, it's more of a reflection for me of just like, dude, you can say the weirdest stuff about either me being queer, just queerness in general, like whatever, or some aspect of it. And like, I'm just like, dude, it's just like, I'm so like clear in that for myself. I'm just like, yeah, you're on something. And also, I love that I am severely gay. Like, I love it so much.
Yeah.
And so it is like, even just those you know, around this kind of time where you're like, oh god, I gotta navigate things. It's like, yeah, and I love that I'm queer, you know, like maybe the other people don't, but it's cool.
Yeah, well, and I think that brings up the queer joy in the joy of the journey of being queer, because yeah, I mean, I feel like when you how do I want to say that? I'm not exactly sure how I want to say that. I will start with well, because what I'm hearing and what you're sharing is that you just don't have a lot of triggers around being queer. And I think that that's important to note, is that triggers are ours. And if we have them, then other people can trigger them.
Right.
And the good thing about that is that then we can do something about those triggers.
Right.
So when someone triggers you, like, it is part of the healing process of being triggered is finding out where the trigger is in you so that you can heal it, so that people can't trigger that anymore. And I feel that way about non-monogamy and polyamory, and I also feel that way about being queer. I feel less that way about being queer, actually, because for me, inside of my own queer journey, I'm trying to think, because as you were saying that, I was like, oh, do I have any triggers around being queer? Like, could someone say something to me that would like ruffle my feathers? But I think it would have to be, it's not people who are outside of the queer community, it would be people who are inside of the queer community. Like, if someone who was inside the queer community said something to me about my identity, I would get really upset about that. I would feel really ruffled by that. But definitely for me, like in my identity of being non-monogamous and in my identity of being queer, for people who are interacting with me who aren't queer, I don't really have a lot of triggers. Like, it's the same thing. It's just like, you can, and people have said crazy, messed up things to me, and it's just like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't trigger me, because it's just like, okay, I got it. Like, I got that. That's how you feel. And okay. and the thing about do I want to say that? Because I'm like, oh, is that too much of a tangent off of queer joy?
Well, we don't allow tangents on this podcast, so.
But I think the other thing about like cleaning up your triggers for yourself is that when people can't trigger you, they will stop triggering you, because part of the reason why people trigger you is
they're
because
trying to get a
if they're trying to get a rise out of you. Like, sometimes people trigger you and they don't mean to at all.
Yeah, but
right?
they're like, oh, if I say this thing, it's gonna set them off, and da.
But if someone is trying to trigger you and they can't, they will get frustrated and they will stop, because they want you to react.
Yeah.
To it.
No, for sure.
And so if you don't have that trigger and you can't, you really are unbothered by them saying whatever they have to say, like, they'll stop because they are not getting what they want out of that interaction.
Right.
It's
true.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's also like queer joy in itself too. It's like,
yeah, no, that's all, like, it's not a tangent.
It's like queer joy in itself of just like, no, like, you can't bother me. Like, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna fall into your trap. I'm not gonna play your game. Like, I'm unbothered.
Yeah, it's just more of like, okay, you're saying that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I think another, I guess it's related to it. Just think because you use the word like queer journey or phrase.
Yeah.
But it is like, because I'm just like thinking about it, from, because like if I look at especially the holidays around like after I first came out, like as a teenager, and just being like, oh God, like they're gonna like, some of my family that didn't know or whatever. And I was just like, oh God, this is so, and I was just like, anything that was mentioned about anything gay related at all, I was just like, very like on edge. Where it's, or like if someone said something, I could feel like, me getting activated in some sense because I wasn't, I guess confident in my queerness, at that point. But then it is like a marker at the end, at the end of each year, everyone always looks back at things, right? Like, oh my God. But I'm like, oh yeah, man, this now for me, I'm just like, friggin', it's great. Queer joy all day. But even in those situations where it's like, yeah, I know, I am the different one in this situation or what have you, or the outlier of sorts. And it doesn't have that like sense anymore for me, and like being like, oh, I'm the weird one of the family, or it's just like, yeah, I guess I'm the different one here, but like that doesn't mean that it's bad, or I have to like do something different, or I can't just, be chilling chilling in the corner, or whatever it is. It's just like, oh yeah, like it is that reflection again, just of like, oh yeah, I feel good in this space, and like, yeah, someone could say whatever it is to me, and that doesn't mean like my feelings will get hurt, but it's like, it's just like, why are you being mean? Choose kindness. Like, what's that?
Oh, man.
But I don't take it on as like, oh, obviously that, yes, everything they say is like true about me, or has me question anything about like myself. I'm just like, that's an interesting thing to say.
Yeah. What an interesting thing to say.
Yeah, like that's what my thought is. I'm like, oh, well, anyway, yeah, but and of course, that's like different for everyone's expression of queerness for sure, and like how you were raised around it, and cultural context and everything like that. But it's like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, but I mean, it's also, I think part of it is like I'm very severely gay, as I mentioned just a few moments ago, and so it's like I'm kind of in that space where I'm like, oh, well, I'm here now, and so just being like that has allowed me to be much more like in my queer joy of my expression and everything.
So what is your queer joy? Tell me something else about your queer joy around the holidays.
That
you don't have to go back and be with family.
I don't have to. Yeah, I mean, there's no pressure to do any of that. I mean, that's just a different kind of family context anyway. But like I don't have to do it. Yeah, there's no obligation or anything. I mean, one of the things that's nice, either like when I'm maybe going to see family or not, or what have you, like I noticed, like for myself, just like the queer joy around like not worrying about like something with my partner, in the sense of like being like, oh, like if we were going to see my family or something, I would just be like, oh God, I gotta bring my partner, and obviously it's very gay. Like like I don't have that weird worry. I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is what's happening. Like I wouldn't have that be like, oh, what? Because that happened like for the first time for me, and it was like my second year of college, third year of college. One of those years of college was the first time I brought like a partner to like a family gathering, and that was like with aunts, uncles, cousins, and stuff like that. And it was like Christmas time, and like that was the first time that I had brought anyone with me that would be like, well, obviously we can't ignore it anymore. But it
can't deny it.
Yeah, and I was just like, how will this go? But just the like ease of it all was just really, I was just like, oh, cool. And so it's like, I think that brings queer joy of just knowing like it's not a weird thing. Of course, like, everyone's situation is different, but like just my inner experience of that, I'm just like, yeah, that's my partner over there. Okay, great.
Yeah. Well, I think that kind of ties into what we were talking about last week with like you get to choose who you get to be about it. So, at the beginning of this episode, I'm like, oh, you could choose joy. And the other thing is like you can choose to have fun. Like you can choose to be cheeky. There's this woman that I follow on was it Charlie's making her first debut on the podcast. We also got a new cat named Charlie. It's a girl cat named Charlie. And she is a little she's playing around
She's
us.
A rascal.
She's a cute cutie. Hey Charlie. Queer joy having a cat.
That's true. She is our Christmas cat.
That's right. But yeah, like one of the things that this woman says that I follow is have a great day in their face.
That's funny.
Remember to have a great day in their face. And it's just like, and it is kind of, it's like joy as an act of resistance, like I'm going to be here. I'm going to have fun regardless of what you think or what you say. Like, I'm going to have a good time. Like, I'm going to, drink a glass of wine. I'm going to say the cheeky thing. I'm going to play with the kids. I'm just going to have a good time, and I'm not even going to worry about what you think or what you expect of me or anything like that. Like, what are your favorite things about the holidays? And just go do those things. Like, I love going and, like, one of the things that Lee and I love doing is going around and looking at all the Christmas lights and different... The illusion has been broken! Charlie's playing with the backdrop.
Charlie, yeah. For the video, it will be hilarious.
Yeah. But it's so great.
The wall is crumbling behind us.
Oh my god, so good. But yeah, like we love going to look at like the Christmas lights, or maybe your favorite part is like playing with your younger cousins, or maybe you love board games.
Making cookies.
Yeah, cooking. Like, whatever the thing is that you really love to do, like, go do that and, like, have fun, even if people are fucking weird. Charlie's got the zoomies.
Perfect timing for the zoomies.
Yeah, perfect timing.
She's like, great, you guys hit record?
She's like, yeah, I'm going to have a great day in your face.
Yeah, that's right. She's just giving a demonstration, a live demonstration.
Live demonstration. Thank you, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, well, even on that note of cats creating chaos. No, of the, like, yeah, just like, hey, I love this thing. Like, that's what I really want to, focus on or center things around. It is kind of queering up the holidays, where it's really being able to, remove the obligations or the things that, like, you're just like, I don't want to do that. It's like, think about relationships, right? Like, it's like, I don't want to do that thing. It doesn't work for me. Like, it doesn't work with the sense of queer relationship. So it's like...
Right, exactly. It's like, I don't want to go to a football game with you, or what. I don't know, whatever. I actually like going to football games. That wasn't a true example about me.
It's like, come on.
I don't want to go to a sports bar every Sunday. I don't want to do that. But, like... So I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do it, even if the person I'm in a relationship with wants to do that, which I have been in a relationship with someone who wants to go to the sports bar every single Sunday. And I'm like, that is awesome. You should go do that. I am not coming with you.
Yeah, well. But it is, like, it's, that is a way to, foster even more queer joy for yourself around the holidays of, like, maybe it's like family is not an option. For whatever reason, or whatever used to happen is not an option. So it's being able to, just really bring, whatever it is that you want to happen.
Totally. Like what are some of the things that you love? And then if you're not going to do that around family, or you can't do that around family, then who else can you involve? Can you do that by yourself and still have fun and still be joyful about it? Can you share with friends that that's what you want to do and see who else wants to do that with you? Last year I had an introvert Christmas party where people came over and they just did their own things. Like one person made like craft ornaments and another person played video games, and we all just kind of like hung out around each other and like did our own activities, which I thought was great. I was like so about it. I was like, this is awesome. So it's just like, what is it for you that makes you happy? And then, are there other people who would be interested in doing that with you?
Yeah. Or just, if you're like, nah, I can just do it by myself, freaking go do it. Have the greatest time doing it.
Awesome. Like if you're like me and Lee and you like going around to different neighborhoods and looking at all of the Christmas lights, like going and doing that like by yourself, or starting an Instagram live and like having people join you, like there's just it's one of those things where it is like sometimes when you're doing something that makes you happy, it's not letting any of your excuses in your head or stories in your head get in the way of your own happiness either. Like, don't get in the way of your own happiness. Like, if you like doing that thing, go do that thing. If it's not, the perfect way that you wish that it could be, what about it could you enjoy? And then maybe you can build on it next year, Charlie is going full force right now. Is that gonna fall over? Look at that.
Yeah, what happened?
Can you fix that? Let's not make sure that doesn't fall over.
Charlie, what happened? Go there.
Momentary pause. Charlie's like, I want to be on the podcast.
You can. You just not that way.
And we're back.
Okay.
What's something else that brings you queer joy over the holidays?
Being with you.
I knew it.
You knew it.
I knew
you
it.
You just said it. You knew it.
I wanted you to say it.
All right. Brings her queer joy for me to say it,
Yeah. Well, it also brings me queer joy to be with you over the holidays, too.
Oh, my gosh. Girl's trying to romance me.
Yeah. Is it working?
Yes. No, but it is. I'm like, oh, my God. Absolutely queer joy. Mm-hmm. Get to be with my human over here.
Yeah, that's really great.
Doing our own holiday things. Or nothing. It's great. That's you. We're like, I don't know. We'll see some. We have our little Christmas tree this year.
We do. Lee's mom sent us a itty bitty tiny Christmas tree.
That is some queer joy right there. My
that
mom
is.
Being like, hey, you guys need a little treat. I'm going to send you a little treat.
I know. It's so good. I love it. So it's adorable.
Yeah. So that brought me some queer joy.
I'm trying to think of, because I've seen there was another video I saw of this woman who was like, you can, if your family calls your partner your friend.
Oh, yeah.
I give you full permission to refer to every single person's partner as their friend in your family. Because, like, be cheeky, Be cheeky. Like, be like, oh, okay. Like,
where's your friend at?
Where's your friend at? You didn't... Oh my gosh, you and your friend are raising these kids so well together.
Because I get to the uncle. Like, where's your friend at?
Where's your friend at? Oh my gosh, you've been bringing your friend to family gatherings for a really long time.
You guys are so close.
You're so close. And your roommates too? Wow, that's wild. It's like, have you ever heard of queer platonic partners? Is that you guys?
You're like, I heard this term. Does this apply?
How does that resonate with you? I just want to know how you identify so I can respect how you are.
Oh my god. Be a bold move.
That would be a bold move. That would be a bold move. Absolutely.
Yeah, you use that in the ways you feel good with.
Or I saw this post that was like, my parents have been dead naming my sister for years, her trans sister. And so this year I brought a bullhorn to the family gathering, and every time they said the wrong name or wrong pronoun, I used the bullhorn. They were like, years of conflict solved in 2 minutes.
Yeah, that is.
And that is a bold move. That is
a bold move.
Also, very bold move. Very bold move.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. But I don't know, like I said last episode, it's like, who do you want to be, you know, and show up and just like be that person unapologetically. Like, be you, be the joyful, wonderful, cheeky you unapologetically. Or if you're not cheeky, then, you know, whatever that is for you. Mm-hmm. I'm just throwing out terms, you know.
I like cheeky.
I like cheeky. I like cheeky. It's great. I like being cheeky, you know. So, excuse me. Excuse me.
Coffee. This is making it
so good. Yeah, my other queer part of my, I don't know if this is queer joy, but is my coffee drinks. Love them. Got my iced coffee today. It's like 35 degrees outside. It's delicious. I love it.
It is part of queer culture.
But I do love really tasty beverages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just doing the things that make your little queer heart happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or like I reconnected, like some of my cousins are queer as well. Mm. So one of the things that I did was reconnect with one of my cousins who's also queer, who we don't like talk super often. And so I was just like, oh, I'm gonna reach out to them and see what they're up to. And we've been like texting back and forth and like sending each other pictures of, you know, about our lives and stuff like that. And like that's brought me a lot of queer joy, is to connect with my other there's a couple of us, but I just reached out to one of them specifically. Yeah. But it really makes my heart happy, and connecting with them and like sharing queer joy with them. And part of it is because they're my family. It's like, wow, this is really nice to be able to have this type of connection with this family member. Mm-hmm. You know, like that brings me a lot of queer joy. Yeah. Yeah. And just like, and one of the things about our relationship as well is that we both came out to each other at the same time, and we hadn't come out to the family yet. And so we kind of devised a plan to come out to the family, and like how we wanted to do that. And it was really beautiful that we were able to, you know, support each other through that. And like, and just in small ways too, you know, it wasn't like we were on the phone together for multiple hours a day, like hashing out things. It was just like, it was just the simple fact that we knew that we were there for each other and that we could, you know, message each other and stuff like that. It was just like really beautiful as well. And yeah, so that also brings me a lot of queer joy, queer holiday joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, yeah, especially if you can, you know, if there's a little queer social gatherings around this time of year or something. just to feel like that sense of community and, it's like, oh yeah, there's a holiday theme to it or something of that nature. But it's just, it's just the piece of community or connections, like, and yeah, maybe you're just far from your family, or maybe family's just not an option. And so it's like you have that, it's like the warmth, that most people want around this time of year. So being able to tap into that, and then in doing so in a space where it's like, yeah, I don't have to worry about anything because we're all gay here. You don't have to worry about anything of that nature, and so it's like that's also, a way to tap into that too, or just things of like, we were in the queer bookstore yesterday, and they had like holiday, queer stories and things like that, where it's like maybe you're just like, oh, I want to read a cutesy little story about these two lesbians who fall in love at Christmas time.
Which that was one of the stories.
That was one of the stories. And so it's like, it's just like things like that where it's just being able to like queer it up, man.
Yeah, totally. And I think that kind of goes really well with like deciding what you want to do. It's like, what do you like to do? Like, are you someone who really likes to read books? Do you love podcasts? Well, I'm assuming if you listen to this podcast that you're a podcast person.
You hate podcasts.
Do you love YouTube? Do you love in-person gatherings? Do you love like online connections? Like, what is it that really speaks to you? And then finding out, who else is either already doing that, or if you could organize that yourself, because like, yeah, finding a queer book is just a Google search away, just like, what are some good like LGBTQ plus holiday books, and then it'll pop up. Or you can like go on Reddit and ask people on Reddit threads or whatever. Like there's a lot of resources. So just start with, what brings you joy, and then start to get curious and expand on that. And I do think that, yeah, having a community is really great. And so if you haven't started to build community, start to build community. And that can, again, start with in your local area. That could start online. And sometimes how that starts is you have to be the person to start it. Like if there isn't anything in your local area, do you know other queer people around that you could just ask the question like, hey, if we created like a weekly or a monthly meetup, like, does that sound fun to you? Does that sound valuable to you? Like, it really can be simple to expand on your joy, expand community, just take that first little, step.
Make a queer little book club.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Join a nonprofit organization that supports queer people. There's what was it that I just got introduced to? Surge, SURJ, which right now I'm not remembering what it stands for.
It's called Surge.
It's called Surge, SURJ. The RJ is racial justice. I don't remember. So, but the RJ is racial justice. But I went to an online event that they had recently, and it was, as you can imagine, with some organization that's about racial justice, it's very inclusive. And there were a lot of queer folks there who are not only concerned about, queer liberation, but also racial justice as well. So you can even find things that are like tangential to you too. It doesn't have to just be a queer thing, to be able to like find other people who are interested in the same things as you, or working on the same things as you, or want to share space with you, right? Because there are people who want to share space with you. And I think that that's the other part of my queer joy is that since I have been deliberately sharing what I want and building community over years and years and years, I feel like now I have a very solid community of people and friends that I feel really good and happy and safe around. And part of the queer joy is just having that. But the other part of the queer joy is that I feel really proud of myself for going out and doing that and being so deliberate about finding people that I really enjoy and love and feel safe being around. You know? Because, yeah, it takes time. It takes time to build relationships and build community. So if you're at square one, like, that's okay. You know, you're at square one. All right. Like, all you can do is just keep stepping forward, keep taking steps forward. Yeah. Oh wow, now it really started raining.
It's been a stormy day here.
Yeah.
It's one of those days where the universe is telling you shut the windows, bundle up.
That's what, after we're done recording this podcast, we're gonna go and sit in front of the fire and watch silly shows and cuddle up and have snacks.
Oh.
Also part of my queer joy of being with you. Oh. Tell me something else that brings you queer joy, and then we'll wrap it up. Holiday queer joy.
I don't know. I just love being queer.
Lee's like, I just am queer joy. What do you want from me?
Oh my gosh. I'm just like, dude, all the time. It's so great. Yeah, no, I mean, I love all the, I mean, I think about it in, it just kind of, I mean, it's similar to what I was saying earlier, but I guess more reflective. But like, I just think about, you know, the things that I enjoyed like as a kid around the holidays, and like, you know, some of it's like I can't have it because like the people aren't here anymore, you know, in the same sense, right? But it's like all the things that I enjoyed about, like, it's like all the cozy things, or it's like the music, like or just it's just the energy, right, of like what is here. And so, you know, then looking back on like, you know, the little kid me, and then like, oh, me now, in like being very expressive of my queerness and everything, and like obviously my lifestyle with my gay partner. But it's like, you know, and it's just like we have Charlie now. You know, we have our little queer family. You know, we do little things that we're like, oh, let's go do this, and we, you know, we have little winter events, like we did our little winter light event this week and stuff, and that was for our 3-year anniversary.
Yeah,
it's so great. That's also part of our queer joy, is that it's our anniversary around the holidays,
December 12th.
And you know, but it's all these things that, you know, I enjoyed and you know, wanted in my life, but just like weaving it together it's like I don't have to hide part of me in it, you know, which was different in the past. And so it's just like, it's more like, for me, like the queer joy comes from just being like, oh, like that's so nice, like I don't have to worry about that anymore, and I can, it kind of has felt like that, like, whereas like as a kid you're like, this is so great, it's so magical, and and then like as I was like, oh my god, I'm gay, and and all this like stuff started to kind of dip, and then I was like, oh, and we're on the rise again, like it's just like woo. And so it's just that recognition too, that, you know, around this time, which is very, you know, it's very reminiscent of like family or what you're creating together and relationships, and connections that, that feel warm and nourishing and everything. And it's just like, oh yeah, and I'm doing that in a much more genuine way than I've done in the past, and just being able to enjoy that.
Mm.
So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you.
We love you.
We love you.
We love you. We love you, and we hope you win.
Get at it with that queer joy.
Go express yourself in that queer joy. You do it.
Love you. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Queer Love Podcast. We would love to hear from you. Drop us a line on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter at Queer Love Relationships, or email us at queerloverelationships@gmail.com.
If you are interested in working with us, follow the Linktree link in the show notes. See if our offers resonate with you, and if they do, sign up with us or book a discovery session.
We are so grateful that you're here, listening, learning, and growing with us.
Until next time, keep loving.